Beware, Blue Yeti on the loose, carrying the Bluetti Apex 300. Use extreme caution.
This video today, guys, it's not going to be another Blue Yeti video. I am not nearly as smart as all of the other guys that are reviewing it. This is going to be a bit of fun, and I'm going to basically just call it as I see it. I'm going to use it practically here to make a cup of tea, make a couple of toasties, and then hopefully, if it doesn't rain, get on the air, make some contacts on HF radio, see what the band conditions are like, see if this thing has any RFI emissions and whether it's usable with HF radio. I know my buddy Hayden. G'day Hayden, how you going, buddy? Good to see you, mate. Hope all is well down there in beautiful Tassie. And guys, please go down to Ham Radio DX and like and subscribe to Hayden's channel, VK7HH. Hayden's a brother from a different mother. And thanks for everything, Hayden. He's just done a fabulous Blue Yeti review video as well. You the man. All right, so let's get on with this. First thing straight out of the box, one thing I notice, and I don't know if it's necessarily a good or a bad thing, but Blue Yeti do not include any DC capabilities or ways to run DC appliances on this, which is not ideal for a ham radio operator. But I want to do a huge shout out to my new friend Michelle in Rossland, and she very kindly sent me hers with her dog food. She sent me her Hub D1. And so what the beauty of this is, I can simply plug this into the Blue Yeti, and then all of a sudden we've got DC capability, which is just absolutely fantastic. And I'm actually going to be lazy today. I've just brought my cigarette lighter with heavy duty wire. I'm going to run the 7300 on this. Now, I did hear that some strange things can happen when you're using the Blue Yeti and transmitting on HF radio, but that's well and truly down the end of this video, guys, so stick right through to the end for that. We'll just have to see what happens. I don't believe it, so mythical things can happen. But anyway, guys, let's just plug this in. Let's get set up here, and let's start. What I want to do now is I want to start cooking. Alrighty, well, let's get the kitchen sink hooked up. So I brought my little Chef Man Toastie, and of course, being an Aussie, I'm going to be using Australian, it's from Master Foods, hot English mustard. It's fantastic. And I've also brought my kettle, and I've got water in it. There's my kettle here, so I'm going to have a cup of tea a little later on, and a bit of an Aussie delicacy that will go with that are these guys here, the mighty Tim Tams, so they'll be later. And I got some milk from a cup of tea. Here we go, got my toasties, got my cup here. There is the tea bag, and brought a bit of paper towel. You never know when you're going to need paper towel. And there is my phone. What's cool about this is you've got this on the back that tells you the angles, which is very cool. So what I'm going to do today, because it's very overcast, just so I can get a little bit of general UV, is I'm going to drop these down to the next setting. And we're ready to go. And all I do now is get the XT60, and we go and plug this into the side of the Blue Yeti, which is here. And now we're getting solar. Alrighty guys, well what I'm going to do now, I'm hungry. I want to have a sandwich, so I'm going to plug my little toastie in here. Alrighty guys, the toastie is cooking. I've just turned the kettle on. There we are. We are drawing 2,353 watts. Unbelievable. Getting 133 watts from the sun, and it says at this rate I can run this for about 1.1 hours. So there you go. Fantastic. All right, the toastie just turned off because I see it's smoking. Oh, look at that. It's almost done. Not quite though. The cheese hasn't melted. So let's turn it again. Let's turn it 180 degrees. There we are. Tim Tams. Got the kettle going. We've got this roaring. This is just absolutely unbelievable. This is so much fun. Woohoo! And then after lunch, I get to play ham radio. All right, there we go. There's my first toastie, and I'm going to put my second one in. The kettle has boiled, and bon appetit. Mmm. Woohoo! 200! My goodness. There you go, guys. All right, so what I'm going to do is my second toastie is done. I'm going to unplug the toastie like so, and now that's going to drop back down to 0, and then you watch this. So now we're putting 240 watts back into the battery, and we've unplugged the toaster. The kettle has boiled, and my second sandwich is ready. So right now the sun, it's just starting to peek through, and I've turned the kettle off, and we got up to 300 watts of input, and now we're sitting right at 225. Absolutely fantastic. Alrighty guys, well I've almost finished my sandwich. I'm ready for a cup of tea. I'm just going to fire up the Blue Yeti again because I can, just to get the water boiling. Ready, set, go! The flag is up and away they go. We're going to have a nice little cuppa. Let's get onto this and start playing HF radio, shall we? Woohoo! What fun! I've just turned off the AC inverter, and now all these outlets here are deactivated, and now we're strictly on DC. We're coming in from this little guy here. Let's show you the hub D1, and there it is. It's very, very cool. So just a reminder, anybody that's buying the Apex 300, you've got your QR code on the top for the app. I'll show you the side really quickly. There's your common 50 amp output. There's your 30. So this is what you can run your RVs with. And then this is your in and out port. This is how I piggyback into the other power pack. And then you've got your 110 AC input there. There's your 125 volt 20 amp circuit protector. Your fuse is in there. And then around on this side, you've got your XT60 input there, which is going to the solar panel right behind me. And then here is the battery extension. And I've got to make sure that that's on lock. Yes, it's on lock. And here is the battery extension right here. And this thing's pretty cool. It just clips on like so. So there you go. So that's the quick rundown of the Apex 300. And here are the solar panels, which I like. I like this. There's no mistaking. You've got your settings, right? So if you go over here, you can see that the second one is 45 degrees, 22.5, 45, 67.5, and then obviously 90 if it's flat. So there you go. Alrighty, welcome back to the HamJazz cooking channel. No, I'm kidding. Before we get into radio, we've got to talk about something. And these are called Tim Tams. Now, growing up in Australia, we never had these. We only had the one flavour. And I've since moving to Canada, ironically, I've discovered these. These are made by Arnott's, and these are the cat's whiskers. These are the chewy caramel. So get a load up on these. Oh, they've all melted. Oh, it's melted, but it's delicious. Look at that. Don't forget the star of the show, the Blue Yeti Apex 300. This thing is the absolute bomb. And I am getting so excited. I've almost finished my lunch, and we're going to hook up the 7300, clear the table here, and then we're going to run it through a bunch of tests and play some ham radio. Woohoo! What fun, guys. All right, let me finish my lunch, and we'll be back soon. Right. Just got the 17-foot whip set up, just basically in 10-meter configuration for 28 megahertz. The handy thing about bringing everything but the kitchen sink is I've got a kettle and the sandwich maker to weigh down the mylar, and then there's the trolley. All right, let's get the radio set up here and see what we're looking at. Alrighty guys, so here we are. I've got the tuner on. We're in AM mode. But the good thing is I don't see any RFI popping through. I've got the Blue Yeti is on. There we are. We're putting 117 watts of DC power back in from the solar over here. And let's turn AC on. And let's just quickly check. Like I say, the SWR is not ideal right now. Yeah, we're 1-to-1 on 10 with the tuner on. So let's go to sideband right now. And let's have a look at the scope. Oh. Okay, there's some static. Let me turn this off. Yep, there you go. So guys, turn the inverter off. You turn the AC inverter on, that's dirty. There you go. You wouldn't want to be running your power supply through this. So what we do is we turn that off, and now we are all DC. And that sounds very, very clean to me. Woo! The noise is completely gone. Alrighty, the next test, hear that noise, we're on 20 meters. Make sure that this is not on. I'll turn that back on. Look at the waterfall now. Yuck. That's very, very dirty. So you can't run the AC inverter on. So we'll turn that back off. Now, I'm drawing in, I'm getting in 135 watts of solar, 134 watts of solar. I'm actually going to unplug the solar altogether. Maybe that's what we need to do while we're playing radio, and that's exactly what that sound is. All right, let's unplug the XT60 and see what happens. All right, okay, here goes. No, it didn't make any difference. So guys, there are some lines on the screen that seem to happen 50 kilohertz apart. I can live with that.
Beware, Blue Yeti on the loose, carrying the Bluetti Apex 300. Use extreme caution.
We need to make some contacts while we're here, because I've heard when I transmit on the radio, weird things happen. That's just what I've heard. Could the Blue Yeti have superpowers that we're not aware of?
G'day, mates. I told you, the Blue Yeti Apex 300's got superpowers. You transmit on HF radio and boom! You turn into me, the Blue Yeti. 3.84 kilowatts of pure Aussie thunder, baby. Toasting sangers, boiling the billy, and calling CQ from the bush. Blue Yeti didn't see this coming, but you did. CQ Poda, this is Victor Alpha 7, Bravo India X-Ray, at Charlie Alpha 4258 and 5539. We're calling CQ Poda and standing by.
Whiskey 2, Hotel Romeo Charlie. You got it. The Blue Yeti got it. Well, I don't know which Blue Yeti you're talking about tonight, but I know the Blue Yeti that I know, they get very docile and happy when you give them Blue Yeti products. Absolutely. It's a great thing to have.
Okay, mates, I'm back again, the Blue Yeti, and I've got to do this for all my buddies out there. Woo! Alright guys, before I go, I want to tell you a fun few jokes here. what's the Blue Yeti's favourite band? AC/DC, obviously. High voltage power, baby. All right, next joke. What happens when you cross the Blue Yeti with a ham radio operator? The answer is, you get a creature that only grunts in Morse code and complains all day about SWR. All right, the very last one, I promise, guys. How do you spot the Blue Yeti at a ham fest? Well, the answer is, he's the only one not arguing about coax. Ha! Woohoo! All right, guys, this is really, really fun. The Blue Yeti for the win. Cheers and beers, mates, from the Blue Yeti. This is fantastic.
Whew. Whew. What happened? Did I really turn into the Blue Yeti? I think I turned into the Blue Yeti on 20 metres. I remember the Blue Yeti. This thing saved the day. Woo! Absolutely fantastic. What a beautiful unit. This has been absolutely epic today. Absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to get this video out. So guys, I'll put all the details below. So thanks everybody for watching. I'm going to pack up now. The Blue Yeti for the win. The Blue Yeti for the win. This has been absolutely fantastic. I love this unit. Get yourself a trolley because it is 84 pounds. It's pretty heavy. The trolley makes it very, very transportable. And this thing is an absolute beast. I love it. All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching. You're awesome. Please hit like and subscribe because your support fuels my passion and helps keep the inspiration alive. All right, mates, I've got to pack up. We'll catch you later. And cheers. And this cup of tea is still hot. I love it. All right, 7-3, mates. Woohoo!